Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the channel and happy Halloween. And sorry to the carnival train people. The carnival train has been pushed back a little bit because some things were popping up on eBay, and it was some stuff that I've been looking for and have been wanting, and finally decided to spend the past like 3 weeks and kind of really comb through everything that I wanted on eBay. And then you guys can see I have some other stuff going on in the background. We'll get to that in a minute. I also have a lot of UP stuff out right now, and that's going to kind of lead up to what we have going on here. So underneath the towel here is a bunch of stuff that I've bought so far. Still have some stuff on the way. But we're going to be really busy here with a lot of locomotive projects coming up. And so like I said, I do apologize to the carnival train people. We will get back to it. Just for right now, I'm getting some new stuff in, and I want to get it worked on and whatever I want to do here. So, instead of doing unboxing things individually and just making kind of a lot of small videos, we're just gonna kind of do one big video here. Like I said, I still have some stuff on the way, but I will address that as it comes in. I should have everything in by next weekend, so I'm not sure if I'll get the time to do another video this weekend, but we're here, and let's show you guys what I got here. See if I can do this cool without fucking anything up. Some new stuff. Some new and some used. More new than used. And you guys can see we have my two favorite things, Union Pacific and Grand Trunk Western. I found some Union Pacific stuff that I've been looking for a while. Mainly these two locomotives right here. This one really wasn't on my list of things to get. Just because if you are a railroader or you are a former railroader, I know this from a railroader standpoint, this one's kind of pointless, but from a modeler standpoint, it's very cool. Very unique paint scheme. I think it's cool. And then same thing with this one. If you're a railroader, you know this one's kind of a joke, but if you're a modeler, it's a pretty cool paint scheme. And of course, it's wanted to add those to my my specialty painted Union Pacific stuff, of course. And then, while combing the internet for those, or eBay for those, I found some other SD70 ACEs. And these two are actually SD70 AHs, so they're the later heavy ones. And then we got a couple SD70 ACEs. These ones are pretty cool. As you can see, this one does not have DCCN sound. We're gonna change that. You know me. I have parts, so we're gonna put a panel in that, give that sound in DCC. And then everything else has sound in DCC here. And then I have a one of the Grand Trunk GP38-2s that I was missing out of the collection. Was able to find one of those, brand new DCCN sound, so really excited about that. And then we got all of the Athearn Grand Trunk Western grain hoppers. And all this stuff is pretty cool because it's all 75th anniversary. And then the Union Pacific WR1, that is also a 75th anniversary. So we got a few more 75th anniversary. I do have some other GT stuff. You guys saw some of this stuff. Actually, I don't know if I did a video on this one. I did get this one. I think I might have done a video on it, but I'm not for sure. So if I didn't, it's going to be in a video anyway. And then we're going to be doing some work to these two, and I'll get into that in a different video. Because there's some things that I'm going to remedy between those two. But yeah, this one is from the 75th anniversary. That was another GP38-2. And like I said, I do have some more things on the way. I think all of my Union Pacific stuff is here that I had ordered. I am waiting on some more Grand Trunk Western stuff. So, we're going to kind of tackle this stuff in no order whatsoever, just whatever I feel like working on. We're going to, you guys are going to see. Like I said, I have some in-depth projects. I think this one, yes, this one right here, I bought used. She's a little beat up here and there. Not bad though, but I do have plenty of parts to fix. I think we're going to change out the majority of the railings on it, and a few other things. I do have some new running gear that hasn't been used. We're probably going to swap out the wheels and maybe even the motor. We'll see how everything's looking in there. But yeah, this one was used with some flaws, so we're going to address those flaws on that one. These two are brand new, and I actually bought those on eBay, but they came from a hobby store in my former state, Iowa, in Boone, Iowa. If you're a railroad fan, you've heard of Boone, Iowa. It's a really cool place. I would advise going to visit and taking the train trips that they offer there. Anyway, not sponsored. But, yeah, so I just got this 3-pack in today. I got these yesterday, and then some of the stuff has been sprinkling in the past 2 weeks. So I've kind of been saving up a good cluster of stuff here for a video. And like I said, instead of just doing multiple unboxing videos, it's just kind of easier for me to just have everything out of the box and just sitting here, and you guys are able to see it right away. Really excited to have... from what I can tell, this is all of the available road numbers that Athearn came out with these. They do have patched versions of this. Versions, not virgins. Versions. Patched version. I can't talk tonight. I had too much candy. Hopefully you guys are having some candy. Patched versions of these cars, which I'm not interested in at all. I want them to say GT. We're proudly going to be representing that on the future layout someday. So this one is I'm just going to read off the last 3 digits. The first 3 digits are going to be the same on all these cars, but we have 190, we have 129, and then the 3-pack has 111, 159, and 188. So, and from what I could tell, that was all that I really can't talk. Wow. All that Athearn offered. I wish they would have done another individual one, because then I could have had 6. But from what I could tell, they only did the 2 individuals and then the 3-pack. And then they kind of did the same thing with the patched version. Jesus Christ. Struggle bus, guys. It's real. The patched versions. I cannot talk to save my life. But we're here, we're having fun, we're back with some locomotives and some freight cars, and we're going to be on this stuff for a while. Lots of things to go through and do on all of these. We're painting wheels, we're fixing some things. I have another... I'm not going to say what I have coming yet. We'll save that for when the stuff comes in, so... I think I'm supposed to get something tomorrow, so maybe tomorrow night I might do a video of whatever I get, but yeah, I might hold off until I get everything, just so I can only do like one more unveiling video. But this is some of the stuff that we're going to be working on. I actually have been going back while waiting for some of this stuff to show up, and I've been taking care of a few things that I've wanted to get done on some of my other UP fleet that I got sitting back here, and then a couple things that I had to that I wanted to kind of go and fix up on some of these units here. And so that's what I've been busy with. I even finally made myself a dummy frame that I can test panels on, because I had a couple spare panels and I couldn't really remember. It had been many months since I've worked on a lot of this stuff. So I basically just took, whoops, there's other wires in there. Took an Athearn Genesis SD70 ACE frame and then some older prototype trucks, and just kind of put a nicer motor on there, so that way I can just quickly throw a panel on and test. I should have done this a long time ago, because I was kind of relying on having locomotives apart while I was testing panels, and I had some panels that I needed testing, and I didn't feel like taking the locomotives apart just to swap panels out, so I just made myself a dummy frame. I can put a speaker in there too, so that way I can test the sound functions of the panel, whatever the panel is. So, kind of been messing around with that, and we'll dive into some of this quick here. I am going to have to move some stuff out of my way here. These hoppers are super nice. I am very behind on getting some of this. As you guys know, this 75th anniversary stuff was like from a few years ago. So, definitely behind on finding some of this stuff. Like I always am. I can never... I'm really bad about not staying informed on when this stuff is releasing and not pre-ordering this stuff. And then I don't buy it while it's in stock, and then I'm left to deal with the sharks on Feebay and overpay for some things that I shouldn't have had to, but it is what it is. I will say this, I do have a bunch of stuff on pre-order through Train World right now, so the stuff that I should have had now has been delayed, which I knew was gonna happen. This stuff's always delayed, but hopefully sometime in the next month or two I will have some stuff coming in from Train World, some cool stuff, exciting stuff. So we'll try to get my phone set up in a nice place here. So this is Union Pacific 9000, very cool number. I am a fan of these later SD70 ACEs. Their print says, I'm pretty sure that says SD70 ACE, but I think the locomotive itself says SD70 AH on it. The H standing for heavy. And I don't know if this is in a good spot at all here. But we're going to pull some of this stuff out. Not going to go through any of that stuff because that's just... Here's one thing I don't need. The warranty. I'm about to void this right away, so... I do all my own work, so... Not too worried about the warranty. Now I'm going to wind up with a bunch of boxes here, so... Bear with me. We're going to try to cook through these. I am kind of on a time limit right now. It is Halloween night, and I have some things going on here in a little bit that I would like to be on time for. So we're just going to quickly kind of pull these out and just kind of set them aside. I'm not reviewing anything. This stuff is old enough to where it's been reviewed. There's other people out there that you can watch for reviews. I'm not really a review type of guy because I never get anything in a timely manner. Anything I get's always been out for a few years, so everyone's already seen it. That is a super nice locomotive, though. You guys are going to hear some noise in the background of me putting the packaging back together. Try to clean up as I go here. Yeah, that's a beautiful unit. It's got the, not the fully painted PTC antenna, because the Sinclair antennas and some of the little domes are painted separate, but the bases themselves are painted the same color. As you guys can see the difference from some of the other PTC. So this stuff was on there and then painted. So So I'm really excited to have that one solely just for the number. That's a really cool number. You guys see I have number 4000 over there, so I kind of like finding these, the thousandth numbers are kind of a neat one to have. That particular unit is one that does not have DCC and sound, so we're going to put factory DCC and sound on it. I know some of you are against factory DCC and sound, but as I've talked about in the past, I'm not picky when it comes to DCC and sound. One, I don't have anything to run DCC on myself, and two, I'm just not picky. As long as it's it sounds cool and runs good, that's all I care about. So that's that one. Like I said, I'm not going to show too much of this. I'm going to try to cook through some of these fairly quick. This is a new locomotive, unopened, unrun, so of course it's in good shape. And then we have 9069, nice. So we got that one. I got this one because one, the number is pretty awesome. Two, it's an SD70 Ace. It's the AH. You guys can see there, SD70 AH, heavy. A little bit more weight on these in real life. I don't believe there's any extra weight on these as the actual model, because that would just be silly. It'd be cool, but it would be silly at the same time, not really necessary. Like I said, I am sorry guys, I'm just going to try to cook through some of this stuff just so we can get it out. Take a quick glance at it. As long as it's not on fire, we're happy with it. If there are little imperfections in the paint, you guys have seen I go back and take care of all that stuff. I'm not too worried about that stuff right now. That's another super nice looking locomotive, and like I said, I love the number. I am still on the hunt for the opposite of that. I am on the hunt for 9096, because that's the one that ran the George Bush funeral train with 4141. So still on the hunt for that one. That is from this run, this particular run that these two locomotives are from. So hopefully someday I can find it. It is very hard to find. I hadn't even seen these yet. I didn't even know these numbers existed until I saw them. But that's a pretty good looking unit. Really nice. Another one we will do some detail paint work too. We'll paint the wheels up nice. Not weathering any of this stuff because it's so pretty. I spend all this money and I just don't want to. I don't want to ruin it. I'm over that part of my life. I listen back to a lot of my videos and I don't sound as old as I am, and I'm not going to tell anyone how old I am, but I am older than what I'd like to be. Physically, mentally, I like my age, but physically, I'm feeling things that I don't like feeling. So this was this the new one or the used one? This is not a used one. This is a new one. Right? Yeah. This is a new one. A little bit older. Not super old, but a few years older than some of this stuff. Good looking unit. It's the I think that's the only 83, because I have an 8406. That's the only 8300 series that I have of SD70 ACEs. It's got PTC. That's got DCC and sound. That's got the little bit older DCC and sound. The it's Tsunami, but it's Tsunami 1. No issues with Tsunami 1. I love it just as much as Tsunami 2. But that's another solid looking unit. You guys can see that is actually an SD70 ACE. It's not the heavy later versions with the separated safety cabs. And then also couple ways I'll take a minute to talk about this. If you don't know them by the road numbers, you can look at an SD70 ACE and see if it's from the kind of the earlier runs or the later runs. Earlier ones, dead giveaway, cab mounted headlight. Newer ones, dead giveaway, have the headlight in the nose. A lot of people are going to know this stuff already. This is for people who don't know what they're looking for when they're out there. Newer SD70 ACE, older SD70 ACE. And then something else, not all the units have it, but some of the older ones still have their old... This is actually a rear horn mount. They're, I think this was more for like foreign customers that got these units. There would be another K5 LLA, all bells forward, mounted backwards on this little pedestal here. So even if you can only see the unit from the rear end, right there is a dead giveaway if it's an older Ace. And then of course the safety cab. You can see how this cab is isolated from the nose and the lower portion, where this cab is just a fully constructed one-piece cab. So just a little quick tips and tricks if you're out there and you want to know if you're looking at an older locomotive or a newer locomotive and you can't tell by the road number. The road numbers are also a dead giveaway. Anything from 80, like the 8300 series or the 8400 series. And then I'm not sure when... You guys can see that one's got one of those rear horn mounts too. I'm not sure when those rear horn mounts stopped being applied. There's just a lot of road numbers out there, and I just haven't taken the time to really look at when those stopped. I'm sure somebody knows. Shit. This is the... So this is my used one. So this one's going to be a little beat up. I saw some stuff from the pictures. Not too worried about it. Like I said, I have spare shells that I've parted out, and I have a lot of spare parts for some of this stuff, so not concerned at all. But this is going to be in a rougher condition. Different packaging on this too. Or no, not different packaging. It just doesn't have the foam inserts, which I should put those in there. Just because my ADHD ain't liking that it's different. And then we're gonna replace this like plastic bag, ripped. This is a ripped plastic bag, so we're gonna use an actual something there. So this one we'll take a quick look at. Just I'm gonna run over some of the damage with you guys and some of the stuff that we're going to be addressing. Let me get this put back here. Already in the screen there, you can see kind of around the exhaust hatch, there's some boo-boos in the paint where the unit looks like it was hit. A little damage there. I might see if I can replace this whole hatch, or we're gonna cut and straighten that stuff out and repaint it. There is some paint chipping off of the railings. There's a big scratch in this window. I think we're gonna replace that window because I don't like that scratch there. I think it's a scratch. Yeah, it's definitely a scratch. That's a pretty bad scratch too, so we're gonna replace that window. We have to fix the armrest. That's a little cockeyed. Railings don't look too bad. It has been run. You guys can see some wear on the wheels, so we're gonna put whole new truck sets on this new engine. The fuel tank has some damage to the paint. We have a new fuel tank we can put on this. It's a little dusty, needs to be cleaned. There's a grab iron out there that needs to be fixed. Some paint damage on the top grab iron there that needs to be fixed. Some mess on the paint there that we will have to fix. Basically just some cosmetic stuff. Like I said, I am going to just replace broken pipe on the tank right there. Sanders aren't put on. They are still in the box, so that's cool. I do have spare sanders to do that. Looks like we got a little boo-boo on the step right there. We'll cut and fix that up. But you know, it's used, not in terrible condition. The paint overall is in pretty good shape. Just a couple little issues here and there that we will work on. But other than that, looks like it's a fairly solid unit. I'm not worried about if it runs or not, because I can take care of all that. So probably going to address that one pretty early on, just because that one actually needs some work, and we're gonna give it the work. So, all right, get this box put away, and then we'll get to some fancier UP stuff here. All right. Next up, we have Union Pacific SD70M 1979. We are one. Tsunami 2, and it is from the 75th anniversary. Pull this stuff out, set that aside. Alright, that's got some foam on it, and I don't want to get that stuff all over my... This styrofoam here gets all them little hairs you guys see. They just embed themselves into that, so I try not to open that kind of stuff on there. This has the really stiff packaging on the trucks, which I don't really like because it's kind of hard to pull out. Pull the railing guards out. And there we go. So that's, like I said, as a former railroader, you know, some of these locomotives, they don't really, you know, they're they're cool, but they're not like, you know, didn't really need to be done, honestly. But like I said, I'm a Union Pacific fan. I did not work for Union Pacific, so I have no ill will against Union Pacific. And like I said, as a modeler and as a collector, of course I want this locomotive. It's cool as hell. Two-tone horn, the only locomotive I have with like a crazy ass paint scheme on a horn like that. That's super cool. This one has full painted out PTC, so all of the little Sinclair antennas and some of the domes have all been sprayed gray. This locomotive actually looks really nice. Really good looking locomotive. And of course, I love SD70Ms. They are just such a classic looking locomotive. And this one in this paint scheme is pretty wild. This is a pretty crazy paint scheme. There's a lot going on here. It's got all the names of their different source groups. And of course, if you don't know, 1979 is when UP had their first source group. I think that's what they call it, something like that. But yeah, it's basically just a locomotive to appease the shareholders, I think. So, but like I said, from a modeling standpoint, from a collecting standpoint, this is one that I actually have wanted. I just never jumped on it when I should, and I finally had some come up on eBay, so had to jump on them. So that's going to be a cool unit to kind of play around with. We'll paint the wheels. Of course, everything's getting metal couplers. I do not run plastic couplers on my locomotives. And then this one, the Powered by Our People. I love this box. You know, another one in my fancy box collection, because of course we know my 4141 and then my 1943, both of those have very paint specific boxes for those two. So of course this one's a really neat one to have, and it's going to run nice with those other ones with the Tsunami 2. And it is Tsunami 2. And it's an old. They did this paint scheme on an older SD70 ACE, which I thought was kind of interesting. They could have done it on a newer one, but they repainted an older one, which I kind of wish they would have done a newer one. But it fits nicely with 4141, since 4141 is also a early style SD70 ACE. But 1943 is done on a newer model with the isolated cab, nose light, no secondary horn mount in the back. These ones are kind of a pain in the butt. And this is a pretty cool paint scheme on a locomotive. Very colorful. I would dare to say, well, I don't know. Some of the heritage units are pretty colorful, but this one has a lot going on. Like a lot going on, even across the whole top. Just trying to put some of this away. Sorry, guys. Trying to save me some time later for putting all these boxes back together. So here we have the Powered by Our People. And like I said earlier, you got your cab mounted headlight, solid cab to the nose, and then this even has the secondary horn mount on the back. Very, very unique paint scheme on this. I love the crest on the back there. That's really nice. The stripe that goes down the length, the whole length of the top, or almost the whole length except for the radiator and dynamic. So it's a lot, you know, these two both have very colorful tops to them, which is interesting because normally that's not something that's really necessary, unless if you're in the air or on a bridge above it, you're never going to see that stuff. So it is cool that they kind of took the time to go through, stripe the whole top, and then actually put some words on the top too. Really nice horn. Another interesting colored horn. The whole color on this thing's kind of odd, except for the gray. Darker gray than what the chassis is. I almost kind of wish they would have done this on a silver chassis, like with the heritage units. I feel like that one and that one would have looked a little bit more interesting with the silver chassis, but they just did them in the UP gray. So, and actually the paint on this chassis, I've noticed, is actually just a shade lighter than the normal Union Pacific gray chassis. So kind of a different, just a little bit lighter gray on there. Definitely is a unique unit. All of the different Union Pacific jobs, all the different workers on each side, depicting different jobs for the railroad, all the way from office jobs to the hard-working maintenance jobs. So very cool. I do like that they start off with the flag, and it's still holding the flag code where the front of the flag is towards the front of the locomotive on both sides. So good on them for doing that. The nice touch of the shield, and then the cab number, instead of being underneath the window, is now out on the nose on there. Definitely a unique paint job, and this red is definitely a different kind of red. It's like a matte. It's matte, but it's very bright. So definitely excited to have this one. I have wanted this one just because it finishes off my specialty painted SD70 ACE collection. This was the last one I was missing, so really excited to have that. And like I said, I'm sorry I'm rushing, but like I said, there's people out there that have done the reviews on this. And then we have 5861, another GP38-2, and even though in my era of modeling the Grand Trunk, when I finally do my layout, I'm doing 86 to 87. This locomotive was not in this paint scheme at that time. This was a Rock Island unit, and it was in the rock paint, the blue and white. This locomotive was painted like this, like sometime in the mid 90s. So out of my time range, but I don't care. It's Grand Trunk. It's red and blue. I want it. I'm running it. Sometimes, no matter how close you want to stick to a time frame, sometimes you just want to get stuff and you want to run stuff that you like. And I've talked about it before. The Grand Trunk is my home railroad. Growing up in Michigan, grew up watching Grand Trunk. Grew up loving the Grand Trunk. But up until recently, I've finally decided to model the Grand Trunk. So, wish I would have made that call a long time ago. I'd have a lot more Grand Trunk stuff. But I'm very pleased with what I have. And of course this is brand new, unused, unopened. First time opening it. We'll get rid of that cheap plastic coupler on there, put something metal on there. Really good looking unit. Beautiful. I love this paint scheme. And since this is a little bit later one, it still has an M3, but it's a hood mounted M3 instead of the cab mounted M3. But we are still pre-ditch light era on this, so that's what matters the most, is that we're pre-ditch light era. Really good looking unit. Nice detailing. The only thing I don't like about these 38s is this long hood is kind of, well, that one's kind of holding. Some of them get a little loose and they pop right off. But you don't really want to glue that because underneath this is direct access to the panel. If you don't want to tear your locomotive apart, you can access a few things in there. Yep, another one of my my childhood units here. Very, very excited to have that, of course. Necessary. Very necessary. I haven't even been painting the wheels on some of this stuff yet. I need to get around to that eventually. And then I think I'm just going to pull out one of these guys. They're literally all the same car. But just for the sake of looking at one of them, we will look at one of them. Got the paperwork. Looks like we are gifted some spare bearing caps, which is good because these are known for falling off. So I'm glad that Athearn does offer the spares. And all of this stuff that I've shown you from Athearn, which is all of it, is all retired on their website. So that's why, like I said, darn me for not getting it sooner, but really nice. Of course, if you have Athearn Genesis cars, the detail is there. It is nice. Functioning roller bearings. These also have the older style car indicator plaque on them, or the little pictogram there, which is pretty neat. Nice older era car. Nice, the older style 3-bay. Just beautiful paint. This thing is gorgeous. I mean, you just can't go wrong with that. GT. And then it's funny that they actually give an arrow on here. I know which way it goes, but I think it can just go anyway. I don't know why they have a specific way for it to face. But if you want to face it the right way, and you're not too familiar with how railroad cars operate, this is the A end, this is the B end. The B end always has the brake. B for brake, easy to remember. B end, A-N. A-End. So yeah, that's a really nice car. Beautifully painted. Wonderful. And I have 5 of these now. So very excited. Because I am going to have some grain on my layout. Just a little bit. Not much. So having all the road numbers is nice, because then I can actually run prototypical, like, car card type stuff. So that's cool. We're just going to put that back for right now. I think I am going to see if I can switch out the couplers on these cars for metal couplers. I'm not too big into switching metal couplers on all of my freight cars, but some of the more precious stuff, like, I know it sounds funny, but, you know, I'm considering this car to be in my precious fleet, so it's going to get the best of the best, and only the best. But yeah, so all of these are from, even the 3-pack, it's all 75th anniversary Ather, and I love collecting this 75th anniversary stuff, especially when it's my home railroad. So there you go, guys. Sorry, I really rushed through that. Like I said, it is Halloween night, and I have stuff going on. So, lots of projects lined up. Once again, full-heartedly apologize to the Carnival Train people that I'm pushing that back. Once again, I did not get a good start on it like I wanted to. I would have been over 2 months into the project already had I not had a very reckless kitten, a new kitten down here. I need to stop bringing home cats, so that way I can actually get to some of these projects. So, yeah, guys, that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. I know it was kind of a shit show. I don't know how to talk through half of it, and a lot of blurry cam and a lot of rushing through locomotives, but I did want to get a video out so that way you guys know what to look forward to. A lot of model railroad stuff, regardless whether it's the Carnival Train or this. And like I said, we will return to the Carnival Train, but while I'm getting this stuff in, I'm just going to get all the work done to it that I want to, and get some of the stuff hammered out, and then sometime later, then we'll get back to the Carnival Train because I want to. So, so like I said, apologize to the Carnival Train people, but to the just the people who love Union Pacific or love Grand Trunk or just love model railroading in general, plenty of fun stuff coming up. So, once again, happy Halloween. If you're young, hopefully you're out getting some candy right now. If you're older, hopefully you bought yourself some candy and you're enjoying it. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my Halloween, and that's it. So until next time, take care.